Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulaling. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gash, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gash Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash.
It's a warm reception to our studio here in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Jacqueline Coley. In the headlines tonight, President Barrow calls for self-reliance in food production. Riders for Health hands over 30 motorcycles to Ministry of Health. UTG Student Union embarks on protests on issues affecting students. Presidential candidate Issa Faar gives reasons for running for president. On the international scene, Taliban's Mullah Barada denies rumors of his death. Thousands of migrants camp on the US-Mexico bridge. Thousands protest in Argentina for better salary food aid. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Adama Barrow, on Thursday visited a rice field project at Tutuma village in Jimara district. As part of his constitutional mandates, he is going across the country to dialogue with farmers to know their difficulties as well as discuss his government's policies and programs in developing the agricultural sector. Mode Al-Badri is with the President. He sent us this report and read in our studio by Dado Cham.
As a native of Jamara district, President Barrow expressed delight for having such a life-changing project within the region, adding that the initiative is in line with his government's development plans in attaining food self-sufficiency and mitigate the high rate of food importation, as over 87% of rice consumed in the Gambia is imported. The President's convoy went to Basse for a meeting where thousands of people and cultural troops descended on the highway to give President Barrow a rousing welcome. The meeting commenced with presentation of community ambulances to local communities by the Director of Health Promotion, Modun Njai. He seized the opportunity to stress the need for the people to embrace the COVID-19 vaccination drive. Owing to rainfall, President Barrow summarized his speech. However, Barrow reiterated on the need for peace and stability in the country amidst the fast approaching December polls. While hailing the NPP and APRC alliance, he revealed that his next government will comprise experts from the past two regimes. The President acknowledged his appreciations for the reception accorded to him.
Riders for Health yesterday handed over 30 motorcycles to the Ministry of Health. The consignment of these 30 motorcycles is to replace the current fleet of motorcycles used by the Ministry of Health's outreach health workers in the North Bank and Western region. Hari M. Jajo attended the ceremony, and this is her report.
This is in line with the contract agreement between Riders for Health and the Ministry of Health that requires for the replacement of transports that became economically unviable to continue running. Chairman Board of Directors, Riders for Health, Usman Yabo, said the presentation marked another milestone between Riders for Health and the Ministry of Health, because the motorcycles handed to the ministry will make easy transportation to remote areas where cars and ambulance cannot reach. Yabo added that out of 100 motorcycles that were ordered, only 30 were accessible due to the COVID-19.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there has been serious delays in the production and shipment of the motorbicycles. These motorbicycles were ordered way back, well before COVID, from India. But, you know, COVID Every school child at home or in school knows what COVID is. COVID has disrupted throughout the world our activities, our economical activities, and everything else. So because of COVID, they were delayed, right? Consequently, only 30 could be manufactured and shipped amidst increase in cost and freight. So because the shipment and the manufacturing got delayed, obviously the cost increased. The cost of shipment before COVID and now is totally different. The price of items, equipments used to manufacture the motorcycles have increased.
He stated that Riders for Health expect another batch of 30 motorcycles in the early 2022, and they have established 5 maintenance workshops located in Baset to service Upper River Region fleet of vehicles in Bansang, Kerewan, Mansakonko, Kanifing, and Banjul.
In addition, they are trained to conduct daily checks known as plans. The chairman has told you that he will not tell you what plans are. But these riders are not only trained to how to ride under rough conditions, but they are also trained to look at what is known as plans.
In his capacity as the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Mohamed Lamin Jaite said the Ministry of Health is delighted with the cordial relationship it has with Riders for Health since. He noted that they have high regard and appreciation for the partnership which has grown from strength to strength. This, he said, will boost in the modernization drive and vision of the Ministry of Health as far as the transport flow of the ministry is concerned.
You have been told here the number of ambulances, the number of transport media that we have and are being managed by Riders for Health on behalf of the Ministry of Health. Motorcycles are a component of the overall transport medium that has facilitated service delivery for the country, for the Ministry of Health, and for the Gambian people since inception. We cannot but be grateful to Riders for Health through the country director and all other staff of the Riders for Health for their diligent service and continuous support to the Ministry of Health despite numerous challenges along the way.
He thanked Riders for Health for their concern and good initiative in partnering with his ministry in ensuring that health workers reach to remote areas where cars and ambulance cannot reach. Usman Tise, a health worker, gave a vote of thanks appreciating the kind gesture that has been provided for them by Riders for Health, which is geared towards ensuring their safety and to make transportation easy by training them how to use the motorcycles.
All other protocols duly observed. I wish to express our sincere gratitude to Riders for Health and partners through Ministry of Health and Regional Health Directorates for coming up the new bikes, which will definitely help ease all the mobility challenges that most of us were facing all this a while.
At the end of the event, the delegates went round to inspect the motorcycles, and a health worker who was trained on how to use the motorcycle demonstrated ways in which the motorcycle should be properly used. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Hadi Mjaju.
The University of the Gambia Students' Union earlier today embarked on a massive protest following the Staff Association's sit-down strike, among other key issues affecting students. The students have also complained that they want the underperforming lecturers to be weeded out of the system. Maria Madam was there, and this is her report.
Students of the UTG came out in their large numbers chanting "Enough is enough" as they expressed dissatisfaction with the UTG management in the way it handles the welfare of the students. The motive of the protest is to voice out the students' dissatisfaction and frustration with the recent incidents at the UTG, including the challenges in the education system, and to also issue demands for the welfare of the students. The protest came after the UTG Students' Union and the leadership of faculty-based sub-associations conducted an emergency meeting over the issue. Among the demands made by the union are reduction of tuition fees, provision of student buses, displacement of underperforming lecturers, the establishment of standard libraries in all campuses to provide enough lecturers and bring back the adjourned ones, among others. The president of the UTG Student Union, Osman Jase, said students have been taken for granted and they have been patient for so long, noting that this is a wake-up call for both the UTG management and the government. He added that they will not relent until their demands are met.
If these demands are not met, we are coming back again. It's going to be a continuous attitude unless and until all our demands are met. For far too long, students of the University of the Gambia have been taken for granted. They have been taken for a ride. We are saying enough is enough. We cannot take it anymore.
Meanwhile, the UTG management, after receiving the students' demands, acknowledged their needs and promised to respond.
The management said that they acknowledge receipt of our demands and they will respond to us. But we made it clear that we are not going to entertain any bogus and fake and empty promises. We are not accepting it from any stakeholder.
The students, however, promised not to accept any empty or fake promises, either by the UTG management or government. Maria Madam, reporting for Star TV News.
Presidential candidate Issa Fall has expressed disappointment that the whole country has been sold to foreign investors, warning that if care is not taken, what happened in Zimbabwe could happen in the Gambia. He made this statement during a press conference at his residence in Kirsering. Daro Cham tells us more.
The presidential candidate expressed how much he hates the fact that the country's limited resources are not put into issues of priority. Giving an example, Mr. Fall said there is a portion of land in Gunjur where the Chinese mounted their flag, describing the situation as effrontery, audacity and disrespectful to sovereignty. The lead counsel of the TRRC added that the whole country has been dug up and people don't know what they are digging for.
Like him, we believe that we have the capacity and the ideas to take this country to the next level, where it should rightfully be. A few days ago, Forbes magazine published a report, at least that's the information I have received, supporting the earlier finding that the Gambia is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. The report stated that the Gambia is the second to last country which is worst to do business.
He continued by giving reason for running for president, saying that the welfare of people in this country, especially those at the lower level, is completely neglected. Social services to help our people are simple, non-existent. And that is why he is running for president.
And also for the husbands too, because you take your wife to labor, you're not sure she's going to come back home. Last week alone, 6 women died in childbirth. This week, women also died. 6 women died in childbirth. What are we doing about it? We are busy buying pickup trucks for political campaign instead of buying ambulance, instead of buying blood, instead of buying gloves, instead of buying all those things that would save our sisters, our mothers, and our women in childbirth. The healthcare situation is in a very sad state.
He said. Mr. Fall said these are the reason why many young people will have to take the back way to Europe in search for greener pastures. He also received another presidential hopeful, Keita Bofati, as political host radiant begins 81 days before Gambians return to the polls to elect their president. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Daro Cham.
Those were the local stories. We will be back with the international news after the short break.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulanding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding. Gash.
Welcome back after the commercial break. If you're just tuning in, this is Star TV News from our studio here in Serekunda. And now on international news. Afghanistan's acting Deputy Prime Minister, Mullah Abdul Ghani Barada, appeared in a video to deny rumors of his death. Speculations had been swelling that Barada was caught up in a violent confrontation between rival Taliban factions after the formation of the interim government. Despite Barada's appearance and Taliban denials, many Afghans still worry that a prolonged leadership crisis could create more poverty and uncertainty. Al Jazeera's Hasim Ahil Bara reports from Kabul, Afghanistan.
Pledging allegiance to the Taliban, tribesmen, dignitaries and members of the former government in Kandahar, the birthplace of the Taliban and its seat of power. A show of unity at a delicate moment for the group that swept into the capital last month. But the Taliban is now denying rumors of a possible power struggle and infighting among its senior leadership. Reports also suggested Deputy Prime Minister Mullah Abdul Ghani Barada was sidelined. As the rumors spread, the Taliban dispatched one of its officials, Anas Haqqani, with one message to convey: the Taliban is more united than ever. Mullah Barada later appeared himself in a video explaining why he hasn't been seen in public for the last few days.
I was travelling from Kabul, so I had no access to the media in order to reject this news. We assure the Afghanistan nation, Mujahideen, elders and youth not to worry. There's no reason to worry.
But many Afghans are worried. They fear a prolonged leadership crisis that may create more poverty and uncertainty.
In the past, there was peace and people had their jobs. Now people are hungry and many are anxious about what may happen next.
I joined the Taliban 3 years ago. My hopes for a prosperous and peaceful Afghanistan. This is my biggest wish.
As winter approaches, tens of thousands of people who fled their homes recently will need food, shelter and stoves. The UN has warned the country may face a severe humanitarian situation if aid does not arrive soon. The Taliban is now back in power, but its challenges are far from over. The group is facing mounting pressure to form an inclusive government and is desperate for international recognition and financial assistance at a moment when 2/3 of the Afghans need help. Hashim Ahil-Barra, Al Jazeera, Kabul.
Tens of thousands of migrants have been stuck in southern Mexico as the government has stepped up efforts to prevent them from heading towards the United States border. Those trying to leave are under constant threat from immigration authorities and criminals. Al Jazeera's Manuel Rapallo reports from Tapachula in the state of Chiapas.
Walking through the back roads of the city of Tapachula, a group of Haitian migrants is trying to avoid capture by Mexican authorities. Immigration agents in southern Mexico are under federal orders to prevent migrants from leaving the city.
There's many migrants suffering. There's no housing and we don't have any money. The hotels are expensive and we have nothing, so we have to try to go on foot.
Having spotted a government agent, the group quickly scatters to hide in a nearby cornfield. Fear is written on everyone's faces. One local resident who has asked us to hide her identity says migrants are right to be afraid. She says danger lurks around every corner.
4 days ago, a man passed by, shoeless. They had just raped his 9-year-old son and his wife. The man couldn't even walk because they took away his shoes, so he wouldn't run for help. But these people don't go to the authorities. They don't speak out because they are afraid authorities are going to arrest them and send them back.
The city of Tapachula, about 50 kilometers north of Mexico's border with Guatemala, is experiencing the worst migrant crisis in decades. Some have been here for weeks, others months, and they're growing desperate to escape a city they say has become an open-air prison for migrants.
The government doesn't want to give us legal paperwork, and even those who have papers and try to leave are sent right back here. Some are leaving through the jungle, trying to get out. But there are bandits in the jungle who rob them.
Authorities in southern Mexico have also been accused of abuse and excessive force, which is why small groups travel along side streets and jungle roads to evade arrest.
We're at one of a handful of security checkpoints leaving the city of Tapachula, and behind me, authorities are stopping vehicles that they suspect may be transporting migrants who are then detained and sent back to the city of Tapachula, or at times they're deported to Guatemala, regardless of their country of origin.
This group has made it past the first immigration checkpoint and are getting ready to board a public bus. They tell us they'd rather be anywhere but here, and are willing to risk it all to get away. Manuel Rapalo, Al Jazeera, Tapachula, Mexico.
Protesters in Argentina are demanding jobs and an increase in social aid. There is anger over rising poverty and high inflation. The government of President Alberto Fernandez has been blamed for failing to deliver on promises to improve living standards. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bo reports from Buenos Aires, Argentina.
They took over the center of Buenos Aires, demanding jobs and food assistance. Thousands of people from the poorest areas of Buenos Aires. Roxana Briquez says she has 3 children and no work.
The last year has been very difficult. My husband got some work in construction, but with the soaring prices, we cannot pay for everything.
Argentina's government has increased cash handouts and aid to assist the poor, but people here say much more needs to be done, as inflation continues to force prices up every month.
The government is trying to implement austerity measures and pay the IMF at the cost of the working class. We are the ones suffering the crisis and need genuine jobs with decent salaries.
The economic situation and the handling of the pandemic has put a huge dent in the government's popularity. Last Sunday, the Peronist Party lost in 17 provinces during this country's primary elections, including a key stronghold, the province of Buenos Aires. The loss has exacerbated the big divisions that exist within the administration, especially between President Alberto Fernandez and his Vice President Cristina Fernández de Kirchner. On Wednesday, the Minister of Interior and other left-leaning government officials close to Cristina Fernández offered their resignation to the president. Argentina is currently negotiating a $40 billion debt with the IMF, and the president is trying to reduce the deficit and organize the economy. But his vice president is not going along with it. Instead, she wants to increase social spending to boost the party's chances of winning on November's legislative elections. Economists say the dispute is having an impact on Argentina's chances of recovering from the pandemic.
One thing is putting some money on the streets to improve their chances in November. The issue is whether you are going to do that and not seal a deal with the IMF and continue printing money. Nobody is going to benefit from that and the crisis it will generate.
Alberto Fernández wrote on Twitter, "This is not the time to raise disputes that divert us from our path."
Argentina is in the middle of an economic and now political crisis. And while the ruling coalitions continue to dispute and struggle over how to find a way out, there's millions of people who are filled with uncertainty about what will happen with the economy, with their income, and their lives. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
And before we end the news, a recap of our main headlines. President Barrow calls for self-reliance in food production. Riders for Health hands over 30 motorcycles to Ministry of Health. UTG Student Union embarks on protests on issues affecting students. Presidential candidate Issa Far gives reasons for running for president. On the international scene, Taliban's Mullah Baradar denies rumors of his death. Thousands of migrants camp on the US-Mexico bridge. Thousands protest in Argentina for better salary food aid. That's all for this edition of the news. Do join us next week for more bulletins. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs. Thanks for watching and bye for now.